All right, welcome everyone. We are the political pundits. That is right, DICKS. Take that in, think about that. We are going to be talking about the national polls, the state by state polls, 2 days before the official general election for 2020.
Yep, so this is going to be our final polling video, and we are going to see where the polls, because they're not really going to change anytime between now and Tuesday. I really doubt they'll move any more than maybe a percent. So this is going to be the last video up until the election, and we're going to start off with the national polls, where Biden still maintains a 9-point lead over Donald Trump. And that is significant as in 2016 it narrowed up. So while Trump has gone from about 41.7% all the way to 43.4, Biden has still maintained about a 52% lead or 52% vote share, which is, since it's above 50, if these polls are right, almost guarantees that he's going to win the popular vote.
I personally think probably the popular vote's a little bit closer than this. Um,
Oh,
I
for sure.
personally think it's going to be narrower come election day, whether it's a 1 point swing, 2 point swing, I don't know. It's definitely going to be closer election day. I don't think you're going to see Biden with 52%.
Yeah, it'll probably be either 51 to 47 or 50 to 46. We'll see.
All right, now we're going to look at the state polling because that's what actually matters because of something called the Electoral College. So first, we're going to talk about the wonderful state of Minnesota. This state was early on considered a state that Trump could win, but since then it's kind of seemed out of reach for Trump because obviously you can see the average of polls here. It shows Biden with a 9 point lead. I don't think Trump has a chance at this state. Maybe it'll be a little bit narrower than what it's showing, but Biden's probably going to win this state.
Yeah, again, just it's actually wider than the national polls by 0.6%, so I really doubt that Trump has any chance whatsoever. For him to carry the state, Biden would have to lose a popular vote, and that's just not going to happen. All right, so moving down along the Rust Belt, we have the state of Wisconsin, and Wisconsin was also thought to be competitive for Trump, but it is also sitting right up there with the national average. So while it is a little bit narrower than the national average, we can see that Biden still maintains an 8 point lead. So for the polls to be off by 8 points and swing into Trump's column would be monumental. So I also think this is out of reach for Donald Trump.
Yeah, and this is one of those states that Trump won last time. Really helped and carried to over that 270. Can he win without Wisconsin? Yes, but it's just a little bit more harder. So the next state that we have is Michigan. This was another state that went to Trump last time by a very narrow margin. Now we're showing Biden plus 8 points. That's pretty significant. It looked a lot more narrower early on, but soon Biden's lead has expanded. And it looks like Biden's probably going to win this state again. The chances are most likely.
Yeah, just as with Minnesota and Wisconsin, this is sitting right about the national average. So for these states to go red, the entire popular vote would have to go red, and that's just unlikely. So this definitely will also go to Joe Biden. Next, we have the state of Pennsylvania, which is the closest of the four Rust Belt states, only sitting at +5. It has significantly narrowed up from an 8 point difference all the way down to a little less than 5. And Biden has slowly trickled down from 51% of the vote share down to 50 even. And Trump has gone down or up from 43.7 to 45. So while this has narrowed up, this is definitely out. It's still technically outside the margin of error on all these polls because the margin of error is only like up to 4.5 points. So this is much more competitive than the other Rust Belt states, but it's also going to be an uphill climb for Trump to carry.
Yeah, and pretty much, in my opinion, whoever wins this state pretty much wins the whole race.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
the tipping point.
yeah, this is the tipping.
Um, Trump has an opportunity to win the state. He can. Out of all the Rust Belt states, this is the state that he has the best chance to carry him over to victory. Biden needs to win it too, and he needs to make sure that he can maintain that lead that he has. And the next state that we have here is the state of Arizona. This is the state that went to Trump last time. Um, Now it's up Biden +3. Even though Biden does have a lead there, I could see the state kind of going in either way. Me personally, I think it'll be a little bit more narrow than what the polls are showing here, but it's definitely going to be one of the most contentious states of the night.
Yeah, so while the margin has stayed consistent over the entire election season, we can see it has stayed between 2 and 4% this whole time. It is definitely still within the margin of error of all the polls. And ignoring SurveyMonkey, we can see that no poll shows Biden up by more than 6. Actually, there's an A+ rated pollster saying he's up by 6, but I doubt that's what it's going to be on election day. It's going to be closer than 3%. Again, it could go either way. Moving on from Arizona, we have the state of Texas, which in previous elections was never thought to be competitive, but this year Biden has been either above or within 2 points of Donald Trump the entire season after June, where we can see where the furthest point since was 2.4, 2.6-ish. And while this is most likely going to go to Trump on election day, it's still crazy to see that Texas is shifting so far to the left that it could eventually flip. And once it does flip to the Democrats, it would probably be the end of the GOP. But I am confident that this state will go to Trump on election day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is going to go to Trump. I think he might outperform that margin a little bit more. But I don't necessarily think that flipping Texas means the end of the GOP in the future, because GOP could just take the Rust Belt, which is trending in their direction. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. And the next state that we have is the state of Iowa. And this is a state that went to Trump by a pretty good margin last time. I think it was around 78 points or something like that. Now it's showing Trump up about 2 points. It looks like very recently polls have really helped Trump. I know there was a poll that showed Trump up 7 points. That's a A- rated pollster. Another one showing him up 1. So who the hell knows? But Trump's probably going to win this state, looking at the most recent polls.
I actually have a problem with that +7 from Seltzer and Co. because it is actually being reported that there was a problem with this polling. Like with that specific poll, there were issues, which might explain why it's +7. Because if you look at all the other polls, the only other ones are Opinion Insight, which is right-leaning. And actually, that's it. There's no other polls besides Opinion Insight and Seltzer that showed Trump up by more than +2. So I think there is something wrong with this poll, or it's just straight up an outlier. But I also think it could go to Trump on election night.
I think I was probably going to go to Trump. It's just how I feel.
Moving on from Iowa, we have the state of Florida. And for Florida, Biden has held a consistent lead the entire time. This lead has, or not consistent, but he has held a lead the entire time. It has been as high as 7 points, but now it's only down to about 2. So recent polling, even Rasmussen has him up by +1. But there's a lot of A+ rated pollsters polling the state right now, and they're all either favorable they're all pretty close to even. So Florida maintains its flip-flopping state where it is going to be really close on election night, and I honestly don't know who it's going to go for. I think with the higher turnout, it might go to Biden, just because higher turnout helps Democrats, but at the same time, Trump can still win this state easily.
This is pretty much the other state. If we find out that Biden wins the state, it's all over. All right, it's all over at that point.
Yeah.
We find out election night, Biden wins the state of Florida. It's all over. But if Trump wins Florida, he still has a chance. It's going to be a really close election if that happens. The next state that we have here is the state of Georgia. So the average shows Biden up about a point, and this is definitely more of a contentious state than it was last time around. There are various polls showing Trump ahead a little bit, Biden ahead a little bit. Nothing like too crazy, besides maybe like one outlier poll. But this is definitely going to be a contentious state. It could flip-flop either way, but Republicans technically have maybe a little bit more of an advantage because it's just been historically red. So it's going to be an interesting state to watch.
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely one to watch on election night, as it's going to be close from start to finish, even if we don't find out the true winner, until like Wednesday or Thursday. So moving on from Georgia, we have the state of Ohio. And Ohio has been extremely close the entire cycle. Only during Biden's peak was it anywhere like above 2% for either candidate. So right now it's currently sitting at Trump plus zero point 0.2. So it seems that there have been recent polls showing Biden ahead for that to happen. In fact, yeah, you have a Quinnipiac poll that shows him plus 5, but all these other ones show Trump up. So I am almost certain that Ohio is going to go to Donald Trump on election night. There won't be
Yeah,
any doubt about it.
I'm pretty sure it is too. I don't think Ohio's flipping even in an election cycle like this. It's just even if Trump is doing worse nationally, this state has just gone so Republican that it's probably not going to flip. Okay. The next state that we have here is the state of North Carolina, which has been a reliable state for Republicans for some time. The last time that this went Democrat was in 2008 when Barack Obama won it. The average of polls show Biden up +2. That is well within the margin of error. Either candidate could win the state.
Yeah, and there's also recent polls that show Trump up, but again, Trafalgar, Atlas Intel, Insider Advantage, they're all right-leaning pollsters. But then you also have CNN that has him +6. That's obviously left-leaning.
And yeah, the Emerson that shows a tie.
Yeah. So it's literally going to be anywhere in between, but we will know the winner of this state by midnight because they do not count ballots after election day. So we will know the results of North Carolina and we will know the results of Florida by midnight. And if that's the case,
if Biden wins this state, it's over.
Yeah, if Biden wins either of these states, everybody can go to bed. We know the result of the election. There will be no contesting it. So if we take a look at 538's presidential forecast, we can see that Trump has lost his third mini map here, showing a win, because his chances of winning have dropped all the way down to 11. In fact, actually, in the last few days, I believe, if I go down here, yes, it was at 10 for a very brief period of time, where Biden at one point had an exactly 9 in 10 chance of winning. But again, like in 2016, where Trump had a 30% chance, you can't count him out just yet. We have to wait and see until election night.
I mean, just in my opinion, I think perhaps he might have a little bit more better odds than what they're showing. Like for me personally, I give Biden a 3 out of 4 chance, 75% chance, and I give Trump anywhere between 20 to 25% chance. I'm a little bit more generous to him because I think that there's a possibility, the polls might be a little bit skewed and Trump could pick up some of the states that are polling for Biden.
Yeah, I agree because I also think Biden has a 4 in 5 chance of winning and Trump has a 1 in 5. So I do agree with your conclusion there.
If 1 out of 5 is better than 11%.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for watching this wonderful video. We are the Political Pundits, DICKS. You know what you think about that. Something to dwell on for the rest of your day. Bye.